You're listening to the Nintendo Powercast. Here's your hosts, N64 Josh and Destinaut. What is going on? Welcome to the Nintendo Powercast. And I forgot what episode it is because we skipped a week. So professional. Yeah, I think it's 26 or 27, but we will continue moving forward. What is going on, everybody? I'm N64 Josh. We're just gonna keep going. We're gonna keep on going. I'm N64 Josh. Player one. Brian and I wrestled for the controllers. He got stuck with Luigi again. What's up? What's up?
Hey, man. At least I got a mansion.
That's true that you get to clean.
With like a single vacuum. He does the whole thing.
Exactly.
Peach is conveniently not there at that time.
Oh my gosh. I don't even want to touch that one. We're just going to move.
I had a nickel for every time I heard that.
Right along. Oh man. Well, welcome everybody that's watching us live on twitch.tv/N64Josh. That's right. We're no longer doing this on the Loot Cave, the twitch.tv/the Loot Cave, because, well, I stream on my channel all the time, and we might as well just do that. And once Destinaut gets rocking and rolling and streaming again, if he does, he's shaking his head no. He's like, nope. But if he does, we may alternate shows. Who knows? So, but anyway, from this point forward, this show will be live 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, twitch.tv/N64Josh. And everybody that's here with us already, thank you so much. We appreciate you guys lurking. And we missed a week. Guys, we apologize. I was at an event called Guardian Con. It was put on by the Destiny community to raise money for St. Jude. Almost $1.3 million was raised. And so I went and did our other podcast live there. And Brian wasn't able to come along, but I had a co-host by the name of Guardian Outpost who is streaming Mario Week this week. He had to shave his beard because they raised $10,000 during his block, and now he literally looks like Mario. So
yeah, it's uncanny.
Yeah. So that's twitch.tv/Guardian Outpost. He starts streaming every morning at 6 a.m. Eastern. That's 3 a.m. Pacific, by the way. So he starts streaming when I'm going to bed usually, and then getting up an hour later. No, I'm just kidding. It's way too late. But he's a really good dude. He played Super Mario 3 and then Super Mario World today. And I believe tomorrow is 64. I could be mistaken. He's hoping to get to Sunshine. Or, I'm sorry, Galaxy. He's hoping to get to Galaxy.
Good luck.
So that's that. I just want to give him a shout out. He's doing Mario Week. Go check him out. He's a good guy. That's Guardian Outpost. Twitch.tv/Guardian Outpost. So, Brian.
Yeah.
How you been doing, man? Been playing any Nintendo games?
I don't know. I don't know if yesterday for 30 minutes counts.
It does count. It does count.
Okay, it counts. Played some Mario Kart. I gonna throw in Street Fighter 2, but I decided not to punish myself. Because the online, I don't know. The online for me is still super laggy. So I don't know what the deal is. It really hurts me on the inside. Because I was super looking forward to that game. So, but no, I haven't been playing too much of the Nintendo this week. My efforts were more on playing some shooters on the PC. So, but I am looking forward to another big shooter coming out on the 21st of this month. It's going to be exciting.
Are you talking about Splatoon 2?
No, yeah, Splatoon 2. Not just Splatoon. Get it right. Jeez. Yeah, excited for that one because I had a lot of fun with the original Splatoon. My wife had a lot of fun. There were words that came out of her mouth that I didn't know existed in the English language.
Uh-oh.
So, yeah, we're both of us are looking forward to playing some Splatoon 2 here in the next week. Well, next week. Yeah.
Yeah, there's gonna be a little conflict of interest in my life next week. I think
Hmm.
there's the
No.
Destiny 2 beta and Splatoon 2. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
What about in September when Destiny 2 drops and Pokken Tournament DX drops?
Game
I
over.
don't know. Dude.
Oh, it's good times, man. It's good times. I did a little bit of gaming this last week. I've been
Yeah?
streaming as much as I can, as often as I can.
Mhm.
And it's been a lot of Nintendo games. Mario Sunshine, Mario Kart with viewers is some of the most fun I'm having in gaming right now. Like I'm really, really enjoying that. Like random people will join the stream, they'll jump in, do some races, we'll kind of hang out and chat or whatever. And it's a blast. I'm really, really enjoying that. I did play a little bit of Destiny. I know it's not an Xbox game, or it's an Xbox game, not a Nintendo game or whatever.
Yet.
But right, yet hopefully, fingers crossed. Um, but I even got into my 3DS a little bit, and I've really been wanting to get into Fire Emblem and understand that series and
Mhm.
I know there's great story involved in those games, but I literally I had played the game for a little over an hour, and where I was at the game, I was completely lost. Completely
Hmm.
lost. I did not know what to do. I was basically outside of the wall of the enemies I had to fight, and I had no clue how to get over that wall. I didn't seem I didn't know if I could like break something to get through. I tried everything I could and nothing worked. Nothing worked.
Hmm.
So I
Sure.
started that game over, and the storytelling and stuff is really, really good. The cutscenes are really cool. Like I'm really digging that aspect of it. I just want to understand these games so that I can better enjoy them. And so
Is it one of those things where you're playing this game and you get stuck and then you go and look it up on YouTube and you realize you're an idiot
I
and you're
haven't.
like
I didn't look it
I
up.
can't believe like I just didn't press the button on the wall. Like, these games are for children, people.
Well, this is one of those scenarios where I feel like when you like leave like an RPG for like
Mm.
months and you come back and you're like, what was
Oh,
I
I start them over.
what was I doing? Right? That's what I felt like. And I feel like I was getting annoyed having to read so much the last time I tried playing it that I think I missed important parts that were explaining, how to
Ah.
like get over this wall or break through this wall or do whatever I needed to do. And so I started over fresh. Um, it was pretty cool while I was at Guardian Con. I always come like fully loaded with all my DS and Switch and pretty much all my games. It was just stupid, right? Traveling with that much, like 30 DS games and 8
Just in
Switch
case
games.
you need to
Like,
bust out Mario Kart in a bar.
yeah. Well, what happened is one of the Loot Clan guys, Dubhead, picked me up, and I get to his house, and um, the I believe it was I can't remember now. It's all kind of a blur to me, but basically I get there and his little girl is playing the black 3DS with the Mario on the
Okay.
outside. I was like, that thing's so pretty. I might need to get me
Mhm.
one of them. And but she's playing Mario Kart and she's like, "Do you want to play with me?" I was like, "Sure." And I go to open it up and pull my Mario Kart out. Not with me. I was like, "What?
Ooh.
What happened?" So I call
Was it like on your desk at home or?
well, I text my wife. I'm like, "Hey, can you look up? Like, can you look in the like we have this cube where we kind of store games. I'm like, can you check and see if my game's in there?" She texts me back, "No, it's not there." I'm like, "Oh,
Hmm.
maybe it's in my desk." I go and look through stuff, not there either. And so I'm kind of bumming out, right? Like I can't find this thing. And when I go to put Fire Emblem in, I take out the Mario Sports All Stars or whatever, and I look at it and I go, my Mario Kart 7 is in that case. And sure enough, I run upstairs. It's under a stack of 3DS cases. Pulled it
Hmm.
out. It was right there. So But so I had to race with this little girl just as the shy guy, and she was like, "Well, I kind of want to be shy guy. I like shy guy better than all the other characters." So I was cracking up, but it was just cool. And then we played some arms together, like in the full just like motion controls, because she's like, "I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to use a controller. I want to use
What kind
motion
of loser
controls."
uses a controller?
Yeah,
Oh.
so
Like,
so
shut up,
I
kid.
let her win a few rounds, and she was like,
Sure you
I
did.
I told you I was good, you know. I'm like, I never doubted you. So, um, yeah, so that's kind of been my gaming the past week. Still doing a little bit of Pokemon Go. I just kind of do
Mm.
that once a day, real quick. A little bit of Fire Emblem Heroes or whatever the one is on the phone. I just log in and grab an orb. So if
Yeah.
anybody really understands that game and wants to break it down for me, get on a Skype call with me and walk me through it. I have close to 400 orbs and I have no idea what to do with them. And in real dollar amounts, that's like I think it's like $99 for like 180 orbs. So like
Can you trade them or sell them online?
I wish. I don't think so though.
Mm.
So um but it's kind of cool with this Pokemon Go on my way to work. There's like this historic church that randomly got a gym, and
Okay.
I'm on the red team, and the red team seems to always control this gym, and you can drop your Pokemon in there, and then if they defend, you get actual like coins to be able to
Yeah.
spend in game. Well, nobody like there's only like two other Pokemon in there. Like nobody knows about this thing. So like it's one of these like, oh sweet, I'm just gonna drop my Pokemon in there for days and just let them rack up the coins for me because nobody goes there. So
Nice.
that's kind of
That
cool.
secret gym, huh?
Yeah, basically. But I'm still not a high enough level to do the raids, and that's kind of what I want to try. But
Mhm.
I hear it's just like a tap fest, so it's kind of just like, eh. So, and I don't like go and watch. I literally log in, capture a Pokemon, do a Pokestop, and that's it. That's about the extent of
Yeah.
my playing with that game. So, um, but anyway, we got a Splatoon 2 direct, and I gotta say, after watching this direct, Nintendo's doing a great job of really breaking down what these games are, what the modes are, and Splatoon 2 is looking like it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And so, we've got new weapons. We've got some new game modes. We've got new single player stuff. Like there's going to be quite a bit more content in this game than there was in the last game.
Yeah.
And as I was listening to NBC. They were kind of comparing some of the stuff in Splatoon 2 to Destiny as far as like gear and the different like how it can help you do this, or you know add to this or whatever, like kind of almost like some like kind of RPG elements, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And so I don't know. I'm definitely I'm way more hyped for this game than I initially was, and I'm kind of hoping like maybe we can even play a little bit competitively and have you know one of the things that's great, guys, if you're not in Discord, I highly suggest you get into a Discord. We have one. If you go to the lootcave.com/npc discord, you can join ours. And what we do, like when we're playing Mario Kart, is everybody will get in the voice chat and we'll just talk that way. Right. And I know the Hori headset and stuff is coming out for Splatoon, and the app is supposed to be coming out. I'm not even sure if it's coming out the exact same day or not. I haven't looked into it personally, but if you get and again, also assuming you can do private matches, because I'm not entirely sure what all the different modes are, but
Ugh.
if we can do private matches 4-on-4 with 8 people in the Discord, that is so much fun, guys. We do that with other first person shooters, and it's an absolute blast. Like it's literally like back in the day. For those of you that remember, like taking Xboxes to each other's houses and like hooking up as many TVs and Xboxes as you could, and just doing massive LAN parties. That's like that's something is a ton of fun, and doing it now online, like we call them just our online LAN parties, basically. And it's a blast because everybody's talking trash, and there's not really a lot of there's not a whole lot of like strategy going on. It's mostly just laughing. So, Nintendo Life's letting us know the app does come out the same day, and you can do private matches. So there you go. We will definitely be spending some time doing that. So if you come over to the stream and you want to play with us, we can hook you up with the Discord link there and friend codes and whatnot. It'll be a good time.
Yeah, that'll be huge because the first game, I didn't follow the first game later in its lifespan. I guess I played it a lot initially, but there was no voice chat. The only private match you could do was like 2-player. You would go into a map. One person would have the TV screen. The other person would have to play on the gamepad.
Right.
And that was their screen. And all it was like 1v1 couch co-op. So glad to see that there's private matches. Glad to see that even though it's kind of we've talked about it before, kind of like a bizarre in 2017 to have this like completely wired cell phone system of voice chat. Why isn't it excuse me, why isn't it just built into the game? It's kind of bizarre, but at least it's there. So glad to see that. And glad to see a lot of the additions, like some of the stuff you mentioned about having kind of like the RPG elements. I don't know if it's going to be added on to, but their first game had stuff where like you had they showed a lot of the different clothing. You get like a trucker hat, a tank top, different shoes. So they had all that stuff before, but then like that was like the intro gear where it was just kind of like cosmetic. And not to say that the later gear wasn't cosmetic, but the later gear had like slots where you would have like, regenerated your super faster, or you lost less of your super when you died. You could refill your canister faster. So there was like and then you could stack those things. Like if you're like, oh, I want all speed, you could just look for items that had like speed boosts and just wear that gear. So I don't know if the Splatoon community is as vocal as the Destiny community in that like, oh, I want this set of gear, but I want it to have this stats. Why can't I just change the gear and wear what I want? I don't think people care that much in Splatoon, at least not that I've seen. You can DM me. But yeah, it's a fun game, and it's just cool to like kind of try out those different stat boosts, but maybe they've kind of pushed the boundaries of that. It'd be fun to see. Maybe make it a little bit more. I don't know if they've said anything like, can you modify it yourself?
Yeah,
Those
so
different stats?
I just pulled up pvplive.net. They kind of have a breakdown of the direct. So here's what it says on pvplive.net. It says gear customization returns, though as the new sea urchin in charge, merch can make tailored changes per individual slot. It ought to be a lot easier to get the ideal set of gear abilities without relying on hacks or cheats. So new gear abilities also significantly change up the gameplay and meta. The original Splatoon ended up being swamped by quick respawns stealth jump combos, thanks to the combo allowing teams to quickly repossess lost turf and not lose momentum throughout the game. Respawn Punisher directly counters that, increasing the spawn timer for anybody knocked out by a player equipping the ability. Drop Roller seems to replace Stealth Jump as well and lets you dodge to the side upon landing. Smashers in Splatoon get their tech, basically. Though it doesn't hide the fact that you're coming. There's also Thermal Ink, which makes it a lot harder to hide from enemy players once they've landed even a glancing flow of ink on you. So just a few things there about gear customization. So, I mean, honestly, it looks like they're really retooling this thing and really trying to balance this thing, and we're gonna get to try it. I believe it's on July 15th. Is that correct? Is that the correct date? I'm pretty sure it is. I think it's this. Yeah, here we go. July 15th, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So, and then the game will be out July 21st. So, and we're doing a Splatfest, and it's cake versus ice cream. I'm going ice cream.
Mm.
What are you going?
I don't know. I'll have to go cake probably. I don't like either really. I know I'm an American. I'll probably go cake. I'll do cake.
Okay, there you go. So we'll
How
be
does that work then? Can we not play on the same team then?
no, not during the Splatfest if we pick different sides.
Lame.
Yeah, but we don't even know like exactly what's going to be going on as far as like being able to join friends. But what they did talk about um in the direct is that you will be able to join with friends from what sounded like much easier. Like I didn't play the first one other than the demo, right?
Mhm.
Um but what they were saying is that like look, you want to get 3 of your friends together and play, you're going to be able to do that very very easily. So that's nice. I'm glad to hear that kind of stuff. They did a breakdown of some of the new weapons. We've got Clash Blaster, stack of crayons that fire AoE burst at a fast rate but short range. Um, Flingza Roller, a transforming roller type that
Hmm.
either lets you make faster short range swings or make an extremely powerful long range vertical splash. Goo Tube, same function as the Testfire Charger, but with much longer storage time for its charge, allowing you to cover more terrain before firing it off. Dapple Dualies, an even lighter weight version of the Dualies with faster dodge as well. So that's interesting. They also get into sub weapons, the auto bomb. You know those as cheap wind up toys that shuffle walk their way across the table. This one explodes with ink. Toxic Mist, a grenade that fills an area with damaging fog, denying an area to enemy squidlings. So, um, it it's looking good, man. Like I wasn't able to like sit and take it all in as far as the direct goes. Like I had to kind of watch it at work while I was still working, so I was more kind of just listening and trying to check stuff out because I wanted to get as informed as possible on it, but I didn't just have the time to like sit and really take it all in or take notes or anything. So but one of the things that they did mention was so Splat Zone, contest over a single zone, winner has possession of it. Winner has possession of it longest within a time period. Tower control is Splatoon's version of a payload mode,
Mm.
where the winner either has pushed it the furthest from neutral or pushed it all the way to the enemy's side. And Rainmaker, similar to Capture the Flag, except the flag is a powerful charged weapon. Putting it on your team's pedestal wins the match. So, and I did read too. I want to see if they mentioned it here. I remember hearing him say something about like the game modes kind of like change every 2 hours for like possibly like what's in
Um,
ranked or something like that.
if it's like the first game, there was the maps that were available would change every so often. So like it would give you 2 maps, so you would just sit there and play those 2 maps, which sounds kind of boring, but it it allows you to really learn the maps, you know. So, but then after a certain time, like let's say at noon, it switches and there's other maps. So I
Okay.
don't know if they're continuing that or if they're continuing that style or maybe they're adding game modes into it as well. Um,
Yeah, it's something along those lines. And again, I tried to watch it as closely as I could. It looks like Nintendo Life is saying it's every 4 hours. So
so I
that's
guess if
good.
you really hate those 2 maps, you're not playing for 4 hours.
Yeah, and again, I thought um oh, let's see. And they are doing 2 hours for Splatoon 2. There you go. Um so again, and I do apologize guys that like I'm not like I've never really been a huge Splatoon fan, but I wanted to bring it up and I am pretty stoked about this game and I'm also excited to play it with my kids. Like my wife and my daughter played it. They were like this game is really fun. So so excited to jump into that. The other thing they talked about is content updates. They showed things like the Splatbrella, which is like an umbrella
Hmm.
that you can defend yourself with and then attack with it as well. And then a bubble blower, which looks like it kind of like floats bubbles out and then you can shoot them and they pop. You know,
Mm,
so
really?
they're definitely um they're not pulling any punches with this game. They really want you can see that they're wanting to step step up their game. And and we even saw it like at E3, seeing them do a competitive like tournament.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's really cool. I'm glad to see Nintendo doing something. I hope Nintendo continues to try to work their way into the shooter genre. Like, um, shooting the ground. I've said this before, is not like my favorite thing to do. But like now there's there's definitely more strategy to this game than I realized. Like playing a sniper, and I almost feel like you need to put your team together like you put a team together in Overwatch, where it's like, okay, you're kind of the tank, you're kind of the DPS, you're kind of the support, that kind of stuff. Like, and so I'm excited to dig in and
Yeah.
see which role I end up liking. And I think it's the kind of game you can jump in and play any role you want to, but then you can get together with 3 other people and really try to play competitively. And it seems to suit both playstyles very well.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, and with
next,
the, I was just gonna say real quick, just like the original Splatoon, I'm only, I can only assume at this point, and I'm hoping that they do what they did with the first one, where you had your, they gave you the game, and it was like, oh, this is really fun, but they did updates like for a year nonstop, and it was always like new guns, new guns, new guns, new clothing items, so it was just like that game, how it launched, as varied as it was, by the time that game kind of like ended getting updates, it was a completely different beast. Like I said, I played a lot when I first got the game, and I was like really, I would always be like at the top of the leaderboard, for the most part. And then when I jumped back into it later on, even when I was playing it for a long time, I never got back to where I was, because at that point there was so many variations of weapons and stuff like that that I'm like, dude, I'm getting killed by things I don't even know what that is. Like, I don't even know what I just got killed by. There was just so much stuff in the game at that point. So I'm hoping they continue that with this game.
Nintendo Life in the chat saying they're going to do updates for a year and Splatfest for 2 years.
Cool.
So, and at that point, maybe we'll see, maybe this is one of those games that becomes like every 2 years there's a new version of
Yeah.
it. I don't know, and it kind of depends. It's going to kind of depend on, like, are they going to keep putting out more maps? Are they going to just put out weapons? Like, what's the content look like over the long haul? So, and how much are they going to grab from Splatoon 1 as far as maps and that kind of thing? I'm not, I'm not really sure, but I know you were mentioning playing Titanfall 2 and how like they ended up grabbing most of the maps from the first game and putting them into the second game. So there's just a massive amount of maps now. So,
Yeah, there's way more
who
maps
knows
that
if
I forgot about, but I'm like, oh, dude, I loved this map.
right. So maybe Splatoon will do something similar. I mean, obviously we love new content, but I mean the more maps, the more the merrier. So, um, anyway, so don't forget the 15th, 3 p.m. Jump in. You can already download stuff on your Switch right now, so make sure you have that downloaded, and you can. Look like Nintendo said something about being able to um, already get gear right now from the Nintendo app. So,
Oh, cool.
I'm not really sure exactly what that means. I'll probably look into it after we finish up here. But I do want to talk briefly about the Zelda DLC. I know you have it, but it hasn't been
Mhm.
enough to pull you back in. I've heard
No.
I've seen some extremely funny tweets, like dudes finding a Lionel that ends up just lighting everything on fire, and he's hiding in a tree trying to get away from him.
I was like right in the starting area, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's real
Like, oh
close
my
to the
gosh.
starting area, and he's like, "I'm terrified. I'm hiding in a tree, and everything's on fire around me." Like, I was dying. One of the one of the best tweets I'd seen in a while. I haven't picked it up yet. I haven't pulled the trigger. Drummer, one of the mods from our chat, says he loves it. He's loving um the what the quest or whatever, the
Mhm.
hard the oh my gosh, the trials, right?
Yeah.
The trials. He's loving that. He says I should definitely pick that up. Um but it's not pulling you in.
Not much has lately. I haven't played my Switch in a while actually. I know I don't want to say it, but I went back to, like I said, I played a lot of Mass Effect Andromeda multiplayer and Titanfall 2 multiplayer, and those games those aren't brand new games. I mean Mass Effect more than Titanfall, but I just hadn't played either of those in so long that I kind of jumped back in just for something new. Um, so yeah, that's what I've been doing. As far as pulling me back in, that was my concern way back before or when it was first announced. I was looking at what they were offering, and I was just kind of like, I don't know. This game is so big. I think I have 145 hours into it, and to be like, hey, do that over again. I was like, I don't know. It's. I had the same problem though with Skyrim. Skyrim, you can do a lot of stuff in that game. You can be like, like a warrior, a mage, like a stealth archer. You can do combinations, all those combinations. But there's so much to do. I didn't want to go through that game again. And I think because it was so long, and it's not that to say that it's a bad game. It's not, which is why I have so many hours into it because it's a good game. But um, I kind of just don't want to go through it again. I guess I kind of wish. I don't know how they would have done it, but from what I understand, you start a new save or a new character to do it.
From my understanding, you can go into your original game and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this is spoilers. So if you don't want to know anything more about Zelda, I mean Zelda's been out for a while now, but I'm just throwing that out there. But you go back to where you got your Master Sword and you put it
Mm-hmm.
back into that
Okay.
spot, and that unlocks the trials area.
Okay.
Now, what I've heard is that if you start you start a new game to be able to enter hard mode, you don't have to erase your old game or anything like that. You can just do a different save file. But then you can go in and do the trials, but it's also a trials hard mode from what I've gathered from listening to people talk anyway. And so it's a lot of it is that what people are saying is it's changed the way they've played the game. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like instead of I was listening to Run Jump Stomp, who's going to be joining us
Yeah.
next week, and he was saying like it really changed the. There's a Master Sword. That's what the chat just said.
What?
So spoilers. He said
There's a forest.
right. He would go into like these skull caves, and usually he would just be like, "Oh, I'm just going to take these guys out. Just whatever. Hit them with this, hit them with that, finish them off, and that'd be it."
Yeah.
Well, that's not happening now. Like you've got to sneak around. You've got to be strategic with how he said he was like using he was using one guy to freeze another guy so that he could then attack the guy that was freezing people, and it turned it more into like a stealth game and more of a strategy game than just the typical like run and kill everything. And everything that was hitting him was literally, it was a one shot kill. He was done. So
Yeah.
so it kind of adds a different element to it. I'm thinking I'll probably jump into it. We're going on vacation in a couple weeks, and I'll probably jump into it there. But my son has said, "Hey, I'm finishing Zelda when we're on vacation," so I don't know if I'll get a chance to play it or not because I don't want to keep that game from him. I want him to get into it. So,
Do you know if he's pretty far into it?
I want to say he's maybe 40 hours or something like that. So
Nothing.
that's he's just barely scratched the surface. So, but the other thing that was interesting to talk listen to anyway was people picking up the item that shows you where you've been on the map,
Mm-hmm.
and how almost everybody that did it and they started chatting about it was like, "Hey, I put this thing on and looked at my map, and it was like there's whole areas I've never been to. There's some areas I've covered extensively, and other areas I've never even gone exploring yet." And so I am kind of excited to look at that and see what my map looks like. And so I don't know. I may end up pulling the trigger on it this weekend or something. I'm not sure. I just, after listening to podcasts this week, I definitely got more intrigued and kind of want to try it out. But at the same time, I'm kind of with you. I'm like, I can't jump into another 140 hours, and some people are playing it
Yeah.
differently. They're like, you know what? I'm not even messing with the divine beasts. I'm going around and doing shrines and trying to get my hearts built up and my stamina, and then I want to go and try and fight Ganon and see what happens. So I mean, it really.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, for me, it's games that are that long. I typically don't jump immediately back into them. I need that little bit of like grace period. I want to say the only game that I've turned right back around and just jumped back into was probably the original Mass Effect. Which could be played differently because I think the first time I played that game was like Soldier Class, and then I immediately went back in as like someone with biotic powers. So yeah, there's a different way to play the game, and plus the first time I went through that game, it was so hard because I didn't do a lot of side quests, so I wasn't getting that XP to level my character up. And when I fought the final boss in that game, it was so hard because I was like so under leveled.
Interesting. Yeah, and I mean, honestly, dude, I've mentioned it on this show before. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game on the NES, is the only game that and DuckTales were the only games that I would like finish and go right back into again. Like, I've never really done that with a game. Usually I'm a one and done kind of, if I even finish, which is
Phrasing.
yeah, I know. And so yeah, so that's Zelda. We did get a little. They Nintendo of Europe's Twitter account basically said that the I can't remember the name of it right now, but the DLC coming in in December, the hero, like the something about the heroes, I can't remember exactly. You're going to be playing as Link. They kind of made it seem like we're going to be getting a lot more info about Zelda. So a lot of people are speculating and or hoping that it's well, this could be spoilery, so I'm not even gonna say it exactly, but they're just hoping it's something that's kind of teased in the game already. So that's kind of that for Zelda. Just real quick, Cave Story Plus, which I picked up. I've yet to play it.
What?
I know.
You were so hyped for that game.
I know. And I was going to play it on the plane, and for some reason I was getting motion sick. And the little bit I did play on the plane, I ended up playing Mario Kart and doing time trials. So I know I have a sickness.
Put that game down.
But Cave Story Plus is getting a retro look in August. They are, and I don't know exactly what that means. I just saw a quick tweet about it saying, hey, they're getting a retro look. So, I mean, it already is basically a pixel art kind of game. So I'm wondering if it's going to look more like an 8-bit game, more like it's kind of a modern pixel art game. So
it's going to be Atari. You're going to be a block.
Oh my gosh, like 4 pixels each. That'd be hilarious. Square. Yeah, it looked like Adventure. It'd be great. So, but that's kind of cool. I'm excited to see that kind of stuff. I love that kind of stuff. And the last thing I want to touch on is as far as news and stuff is the new the update for ARMS. And I know Super Nintendo, I was mentioning it early on in the chat here. Basically the new update is it's fixed some issues, right? They want to keep that meta fresh. They want to keep things balanced, so they're watching it closely. You get new characters. Max Brass is a character that you can play as, and
I love that name.
Right? Yeah, he's pretty
Maybe
cool
because it's like max power.
Right, and he can inflate himself and look much bigger, and so one of the things they're doing to keep the meta fresh is adding these new characters, and so he's gonna be playable on the 12th, and then there's another character in the game. Basically, what happens is he kind of takes over one of the regular characters, and his name is Headlock, and he has 6 arms. You can now play as Headlock in the most recent update. So they're definitely supporting this game. They want to see it, succeed. They want to see it get better. They want to keep it fresh, and I think it's great. I'll be honest. I got back from Florida and everybody's like, "Hey, are you still playing Arms?" And I'm like, I literally almost said, "What's Arms?" Like I played it that one time, right? And then I just it hasn't even really been on my radar. And
Oh
so I
man.
keep asking like I'll ask my daughters like, "Hey, do you guys want to play?" And they'll say yes, and then we'll end up going and doing something else. So, um I'll probably fire it up with this new character and see if I can't get them to play. But I do want to say, like playing with the motion controls, that it's actually quite fun. You know, you were kind of harassing me, like you've only played it with a controller. Playing it with the
Hmm.
motion controls is they did a really good job. They did an extremely good job with that game, and um, even though I was only playing against a 6-year old girl and I was making sure to let her win, I
Sure, you were.
I I really appreciated how the movement felt and the way they have you pressing buttons with your thumbs and moving around. I really think they did a good job. So I am excited to jump in and see what playing with headlock is like. I have no clue what that's going to be like. And you know, Max Brass, he looks like he has the potential to be like super OP and need to be nerfed right away. But hopefully he comes out fairly balanced and you know, it's not like the one character you see everybody playing online.
Yeah.
And so,
I don't know though. I've noticed when a lot of times when games do that, introduce a new character, everyone's like, "Oh, nerf them, they're OP," you know. But it's like I think it's just people get used to playing the original, character or something like that, and then when they introduce this new character, which was probably there from the start, but they just excluded him from the release so they can bring him out later and say, "Hey, check out this new character we just made." It's probably super balanced already, but it's just no one knows how to defend against that person yet, or the weaknesses or the strengths. So yeah, yeah, I'll see what happens. Still waiting for that game to go on sale. It'll never happen, but
yeah, you never know. You never know.
someday.
Um, the other thing I want to touch on too, Nintendo has basically apologized for the lack of
What?
Switches in the wild, and
Mm,
they said they are doing what they can to get them to people as fast as they can. They realize that they have not been able to keep up, and you know, and it's interesting. Nintendo seems like they always kind of take a certain stance on things, like nope, it's our way or the highway. And this time around, it's just like, hey, we are going to do better, you know. And I even had Captain
yeah,
Logan was in my earlier, like my pre-stream for these shows, and he's like, "Are you guys noticing a lot more notifications for Switches being available?" You know, before I went to Florida, I walked into Target and there was 2 sitting on the shelf, like you know. So I've even seen them a little more often, not you know, still not in
yeah.
GameStop, still not in Best Buy, that kind of thing, but
I
um,
mean, we know it's a production issue, kind of. Like, I guess they can't make them fast enough, but I think this is a problem Nintendo has created themselves. Like I don't want to say it started with the amiibo. It might have been before then, but the amiibo is when I really noticed that it's like, wait a minute, they put out a certain amount, they go like hotcakes. People buy them up, and then we don't know when they're going to get new ones out, if new ones are even coming at all. Um, all we kind of hear is like, "Oh, we're looking into making more," or we're looking at the options. And I think it's created this Nintendo culture of kind of like, if I don't buy this the second I see it, it's going to be gone forever. And the NES Classic didn't help that at all, because it came out and it was like sold out instantly. And I don't know if this is, like who's to blame, or if you can even blame someone, but Nintendo doesn't necessarily seem to be combating that that problem, because now they've created this thing where it doesn't matter how many Switches they come out with. They're going to put them out in the store and someone's going to go buy 30 of them and sell them online for twice the price. And I don't know. It seems like it's not necessarily like a self-fulfilling prophecy type of thing, but it's like, I understand that it's a tactic and it's a very effective tactic, where it's like, hey, it's only put out so many. It's almost like a limited edition, and those things are going to sell like crazy. And then the next product we come out with, no matter what it is, people have that mentality in their head where it's just like, I got to get it. I got to buy 5 of them right now because I'm going to make a profit and send my kids to college. Um, so yeah, I they've kind of done this to themselves. So I guess kudos for apologizing, but you can say you're sorry all you want. The fact of the matter is, I'm not seeing Switches in stores. So I think they really need to bring the goods.
Well, yeah, I mean, they were even on Amazon the other day, and somebody was saying, "Oh, they're you can get them on Amazon Prime right now." I went and looked; it was like $470 on Amazon Prime. I'm like, that's not a good price. That's a
That's not the
scalper.
system. Yeah,
So,
that's
and it wasn't like that in like 7 games or something. It was just the system. So Jimmy Pike says Nintendo consoles are like the video game world's Jordans.
right. I mean, and here's the, I don't know if it'll ever come to this. This is me just speculating, but it's like Nintendo's supposed to kind of be like, the family console, the you could say kind of the kids console. No kids dropping $400 to get this thing. Maybe some rich dad is like, okay, fine, little Jimmy, I'm gonna buy you the $400 console, even though it's only $300, and you know, we're gonna overpay for this. And I get that. There's some parents that do that, like that whole Elmo thing back in the day. That was ridiculous.
Tickle me, Elmo.
Uh,
Yikes.
so yeah, there are parents that will do that for their kids, because they're like, that's all he wants, whatever. We'll just spend the extra $100 and get it. Excuse me. That way we know we can have one. We don't have to worry about trying to find one. That's just the way of the world. You're not gonna be able to change that supply and demand. But man, dude, like, if Nintendo wants to kind of keep, I mean, well, not just Nintendo, anyone, dude, you gotta keep your customers. You can't just, sell a truckload of consoles and expect the next thing you make to sell another truckload. I mean, look at the Wii U. It didn't quite pan out. So hopefully, I don't know what Nintendo's gonna do. Grease some palms over at Apple to get chips or whatever the problem was 2 weeks ago. But yeah, man, they need to just, because at this point it's not even a matter of like, ooh, are they gonna sell if we put them in store? No, they're gonna sell. Whether some little kid gets it or or some scalper gets it, it's gonna sell.
Yeah, they will, and I hope we start seeing them very soon. I hope with the launch of Splatoon, it's like, hey, there's a bunch of them here. Like when Mario Kart came out and they flew a bunch over. Like I hope we have something similar. So hopefully more people will start getting them soon, because the more people that have them, the better. It's such a great system, so much fun.
Yeah.
So I do want to point out on the Nintendo subreddit, climate scientists warn that all Super Mario levels will be underwater by 2025. Just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of that, and we may need to start doing some fundraisers to see if we can help keep the Mario levels above water, because I don't know about you, but the swimming levels are not my favorite. So it's
not in any game.
not in any game. Actually, it looks like a hilarious like possible video or whatever, so make sure you guys go check that out. The other thing I wanted to just let you guys know, Nintendo introduced Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon Steelbook Edition is an Amazon exclusive. So if you're into Pokemon, you want to make sure
Steelbooks,
to, or
Drummer.
Steelbooks, Drummer, yep. Make sure to check that out. The thing literally the post right below it says the Amazon Canada listing. So again, not sure if it's something that is like an exclusive outside of the US, or if it's going to be available to everybody. But if I would imagine if it is, it's going to sell out quick. So don't wait on that. Also, the Art of Splatoon now available on Amazon, so you can check that out. And this is interesting. I didn't get a chance to watch this, but it looks like it's true. WWE 2K18 Nintendo Switch reveal announcement. So there we go. There's more third-party support, and I gotta say, the best time, the best system to play wrestling games on is a Nintendo system. Am I right? Huh? The winner is you, baby. The winner is you.
I think there's a little bit of a gap between that game
and pro
and
wrestling.
today.
Fighter Hayabusa.
I'm not gonna lie. To this day, I'll say that's the best wrestling game ever made.
Really, better than NWO
so
versus or WCW
yeah.
versus NWO?
There's moves that are insanely hard to pull off in in all wrestling games, but the back brain kick. You only land that thing maybe 1 out of 10 times. But when you do, dude, that guy ain't getting up.
Nope.
Yeah, that game was so good. I need to, legal or otherwise, I need to get a copy of that game again. So good. Speaking of Prime, you keep bringing up Amazon, not a sponsor. Did you see that tweet that went out that said, like, let us not forget the reason we celebrate Prime Day and he who died for it? And it's a picture of Optimus Prime from like the death scene from the movie. Oh man, yeah, it was on all over Twitter.
I saw another one that said, sees tweets about Prime Day, realizes it's not about Prime, the only Prime that matters, or something like that. And I had like a transformer with like sunglasses coming down. I was like, deal with it.
The one I saw had like 8,000 retweets.
Holy smokes! I wish I had seen it. I would have loved
crazy.
That. So, but well, hey man, this has been fun. I'm glad we got back, guys. We did skip a week, so do forgive us. We'll try to give you a heads up if that's going to happen again. I do have vacation coming up in about 2 weeks, so we're going to try to get. We'll make sure to have something that launches, and yeah. So where can we find you online, man?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Destinaut TLC, and then every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Pacific, for all you late nighters, twitch.tv /N64Josh now. No longer the Loot Cave.
That's right.
It's logistic reasons.
Yeah, the Loot Cave's not going anywhere, but it's just I've been streaming on this channel so much that like it just makes sense. We end up having more people come and hang out with us, and so and as we bring other Twitch streamers on and stuff, if they bring their followers here, I want them to be on the channel that's getting used more often, So that's that. But guys, you can follow me on Twitter. It's at N64Josh. You can follow me on Twitch at N64Josh. We just went over that. And I am streaming on a regular basis. Mondays are like my long stream day. I'm actually looking into very soon streaming on a daily basis starting at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or 2:30. So that may be something that's happening in the near future. I just gotta wait and see. I may wait till after vacation to get that going, but I am trying to stream every day. So if you want to come hang out, turn those notifications on. Wednesdays have kind of become our classic NES day, and so we've still been working our way through Metroid. Not sure how much longer I'll stick with Metroid. If we can make some good progress, maybe I will. Maybe we'll mix it up and do a couple of NES games. I'm thinking about hooking up the NES Classic actually and playing through a handful of those games. So that could be kind of fun. So if you guys have a second, you can leave us a review on iTunes. We would greatly appreciate that. It's extremely helpful. It helps people see the show, as that gives it the opportunity to show up in the top 200 on iTunes, and that. And for that, we really do appreciate it. And everybody that has reviewed, thank you so much. We do appreciate you for that. So, guys, in the chat live, thank you so much, Captain Logan, Jimmy Pike, Henny, Nintendo Life, Super Nintendad, anybody else that's lurking, Alcacel Sutini, I saw you there at one point. Thank you guys for being with us. We really appreciate it. And I guess we'll see you guys in Splatoon this week. So there you go. I'm excited. Take it easy, guys.